Before we dive into the vastness of this journey, take a moment, hit that like button, and subscribe to our channel. It truly helps a channel that is just starting out, and we appreciate your support more than you know. Now let's begin to explore the infinite. This is a message for you, the one sitting in the quiet dread of stagnation. Perhaps you look at your life and see only repetition. Professionally, you're hitting walls. Personally, the connections feel hollow. Romantically, the path seems constantly blocked. You are carrying a profound, isolating solitude, a sense of being fundamentally disconnected from the vibrant, breathing world outside your window. You feel unanchored, desperately searching for a place to grasp hold, while the ground beneath you seems to shift. You are not alone in this feeling of existential drift. This is often the precursor to a monumental spiritual awakening. Understand this moment of chaos. It is a sign of impending, massive change. We are told to have faith because the turbulence you see, the internal frustration, the external global discord, is symptomatic of a universal process. Just before a deep, thorough cleaning of an old, cluttered house, the mess always gets worse. Everything is pulled out, exposed, and thrown into a temporary, overwhelming disorder. The same principle applies to our world. The planet itself is moving through an intense, accelerated phase of spiritual growth and ascension. The old fear-based structures, both societal and energetic, are being shaken to their very foundations, and this inevitably creates friction, confusion, and despair in those who are still holding on to them. We are receiving a universal, non-negotiable invitation. We must align our individual frequency to match the planet's evolving vibration. We are called to keep pace with this cosmic momentum. This urgency ties directly back to a profound spiritual promise. Remember the words, "Blessed are the meek and peaceful, for they shall inherit the earth." Note the specificity. He did not point to an ethereal, distant heaven as the reward. He spoke of the earth itself. This is the promise of the regenerated, elevated earth that is currently preparing to emerge, an era of harmony and higher consciousness. But inheriting this new reality is not a passive event. It is an active qualification. To be meek here does not mean weakness. It implies patience, non-violence, humility, and the surrender of the ego's arrogance. It means a fierce commitment to inner peace, even when external peace seems impossible. The qualification is regeneration. To stand on that new, higher vibrational ground, we must first perform our own radical internal cleanup. We must identify, process, and release the old patterns of fear, judgment, and self-pity that keep us stuck. Our personal evolution is now inextricably linked to the planet's destiny. This time of intense internal struggle, this feeling of being stuck, is simply the universe shining a bright, focused light on the areas that require immediate and loving regeneration, so that you may inherit your rightful place in the dawning age. You are not meant to merely survive. You are meant to thrive in this new reality, but that requires a deep, personal commitment to peace and growth right now. Do you believe in God? Not the way you were taught in childhood, perhaps, but in a deeper, more fundamental sense. Do you still carry that image of the benevolent old man with a flowing beard, seated on a cosmic throne, meticulously managing the minutiae of the world? Or have you begun to comprehend that the concept we call God is far grander, far more abstract, something akin to pure, untainted, universal energy? The consciousness that pervades all things, the uncaused cause, the original vibrational frequency from which all matter and non-matter springs. This is the point of departure for our contemplation today, a shift from a personal deity residing somewhere else to an immanent reality that resides everywhere and, most importantly, within you. Consider the magnificent tapestry of the cosmos, the silent, intricate dance of creation and destruction, the birth of stars in celestial nurseries, the terrifying yet beautiful collapse of supernovae, and the almost impossible conditions that allow a tiny blue marble like ours to sustain life. We have developed theories of everything: the Big Bang, inflation, string theory, quantum mechanics, general relativity, and the elegant mathematics that attempts to bind it all together. And yet, with every layer of understanding we peel back, with every equation we solve, a greater mystery looms on the horizon. It is a mystery that requires us to momentarily shed the often stubborn skin of intellectual arrogance that suggests we can, or eventually will, explain every single variable, every fundamental constant, every twist and turn of reality's fabric with mere logic. Take a moment, a single humble moment, and allow the possibility to enter your awareness that even with all our intricate, brilliant theories, it is deeply and profoundly probable that there exists a cosmic force, an intelligence, a transcendent energy far exceeding our current capacity to measure or define, which serves as the ultimate spark, the prime mover, the continuous activating pulse behind the formation of planets, the arrangement of galaxies, the ebb and flow of tides, the silent majesty of forests, and the dazzling complexity of a single cell. This force is not a distant ruler, but the very essence of existence, the breath of the universe, and the silent code within your own DNA. What, then, are the tangible benefits of cultivating faith in this universal, undeniable force? Beyond the intellectual debate, the true benefits unfold in the inner landscape of your soul. We live in a world defined by uncertainty, sorrow, and struggle. Moments of profound difficulty, loss, failure, illness, despair are not exceptions, but guaranteed components of the human experience. When the rational explanations falter, when the scientific facts offer no comfort to the aching heart, where do we turn? It is in that silent turning, that moment of surrender, that we find profound consolation in the acceptance of something larger than ourselves. Even if we approach it from a purely egoic perspective, the simple, self-soothing need for comfort, is it not infinitely more consoling for the soul to accept the possibility that there might be something greater, a guiding presence, a profound order on the other side of this immediate finite existence? This acceptance motivates us gently or fiercely to become better versions of ourselves. It is the silent mirror reflecting our own flaws and virtues, challenging us to acknowledge our mistakes and celebrate our qualities, and extending that same compassionate understanding to the flaws and qualities of our neighbors, our colleagues, and even our adversaries. When you understand that you are part of an infinite, unified, and intelligently designed system, your small personal pains become contextualized within a grand, eternal narrative. Think about this, just for one quiet instant. Allow this omnipresent creative energy that pulses throughout the entire universe, the same energy that birthed the sun and sculpted mountains, to permeate your being and flood your soul with peace, serenity, and a deeply rooted sense of belonging. It costs us nothing but a small dose of intellectual and emotional humility to receive this immense, life-altering benefit. Let us consider the soul that stands at the precipice of utter despair. This is the individual overwhelmed not just by personal setbacks, but by the overwhelming, stark, and undeniable injustice of the human condition. The systemic corruption, the senseless violence, the yawning global gap between privilege and devastating poverty. They look upon the world's chaos, the continuous suffering of the innocent, and feel a crushing, profound, and often paralyzing impotence. Why try? What is the point of personal virtue when global immorality seems to triumph daily? This bleak perspective, born of a purely logical, material, earthbound view of reality, is a state of severe spiritual contraction. When the mind accepts that this tangible, observable life is all there is, that death is the final, meaninglessly silent curtain, the suffering intensifies. The individual is not merely experiencing pain, they are experiencing the total futility of existence, which is the deepest form of human despair. They are living without hope, without perspective, watching the absurdities unfold with no recourse. But a profound transformation awaits, initiated by that small, persistent yet powerful intuitive realization, the knowing that there is something more between the earth and the sky. This shift is not a magic antidote to global problems, but a fundamental reconstruction of internal reality. The moment this cosmic perspective dawns, the crushing weight of global absurdity begins to lessen. The individual stops demanding perfection from a world that is fundamentally a schoolhouse for the soul, and starts seeking explanations for the agonizing whys behind the chaos. Why the injustice? Why the suffering? Why the apparent unfairness? This earnest search, through the lens of eternal principles, uncovers the underlying mechanisms of the cosmos. They may begin to grasp the concept of karma not as a punishment, but as a perfect self-correcting system, the understanding of reincarnation as a continuous curriculum, and the realization that all chaos is part of a larger, incredibly complex process of growth and refinement. The pain of the world does not disappear, but the personal suffering, the feeling of utter powerlessness, is dramatically reduced. They realize they are not an impotent bystander. They are a vital, conscious, and necessary participant in an infinite, ongoing drama. They find peace, not in the end of the storm, but in the profound, quiet understanding that the storm itself is serving a purpose that is vast, complex, and ultimately oriented towards the highest good of the collective soul. This peace that settles in the heart is the peace of understanding, of acceptance, and of finding their appointed powerful role in the grand energetic design. By aligning with the energetic force, they trade hopelessness for enlightened action, recognizing that their internal peace is their greatest contribution to external chaos. This deep dive into universal energy naturally brings us to the question of the eternal soul and the great mystery of recurrence. Why is it, if the soul is eternal and traverses countless lifetimes, that we are born with such a complete and utter amnesia regarding our previous existences? Why this profound forgetting? Surely it would be easier, more efficient, and certainly less prone to error if we could simply remember our past lives, identify the mistakes we made, and consciously choose a different path this time around, wouldn't it? Perhaps we should recall the identity, the face, the actions, and the failures of the persona we inhabited 500 years ago. Yet we do not. The veil of forgetting is not a cruel trick of the cosmos. It is, in fact, an act of supreme mercy and necessary engineering. We must ask ourselves, are we truly prepared in our current, often fragile state of consciousness to face the complete, unvarnished truth of who we have been and what we have truly done? Could your current consciousness handle the immediate visceral memory of having been a victim in one life and, perhaps more terrifyingly, an aggressor or perpetrator in another? The sheer weight of that accumulated personal history, the complex web of guilt, attachment, unfulfilled desire, and grief spanning millennia, would likely be too overwhelming, too paralyzing for the relatively clean slate needed to tackle the specific vital lessons of this particular life. The purpose of each incarnation is not merely to reminisce, but to actively grow, to learn through experience, and to refine the soul's essence by focusing intently on a curated set of challenges. The forgetting allows us to play our part without being mentally crippled by the entire script. It grants us the freedom to make new choices, not merely reactive ones, creating a space for genuine, unburdened spiritual evolution. This process of learning through recurrence brings us face to face with the law of karma. Do you believe in life after death? Do you believe in karma, not as a punitive divine judgment, but as the flawless, impersonal mechanism of cause and effect, the fundamental reality that every single action, thought, and intention you put forth into the energetic tapestry of this earth has consequences that ripple through time, affecting not only this life, but futures beyond? This is not a threat. It is the promise of universal equilibrium. It is the cosmic statement that nothing is ever truly lost or overlooked. It would be immensely beneficial to every single human being to truly grasp the notion that many of the events you are currently experiencing, both the beautiful, unearned joys and the difficult, inexplicable suffering, are not random acts of fortune or misfortune, but direct or indirect consequences, echoes of vibrational frequencies set in motion by your own actions, errors, and moments of grace in lives past. When you encounter an unforeseen obstacle or a sudden stroke of luck, recognize it not as fate, but as the universe settling a long-standing energetic account. Understanding karma shifts the paradigm of suffering from senseless victimization to necessary purification and growth. It replaces despair with a sense of purpose and accountability. It compels you to live consciously, knowing that the quality of your tomorrow, whether in this lifetime or the next, is being meticulously woven by the threads of the choices you make today. The vastness of this perspective, This understanding of God as energy and karma as law compels us toward a state of active humility. Humility is not self-deprecation. It is the accurate acknowledgement of one's place within the infinite. It is realizing that you are both a fleeting manifestation of matter and an eternal spark of the divine, a magnificent paradox. When you allow this humble perspective to govern your thoughts, the petty grievances and small ambitions of the ego begin to dissolve. The true struggle is not against external forces, but against the inner inertia that keeps us tethered to the illusion of separation. Every moment of conscious kindness, every act of forgiveness towards yourself or others, every effort to choose light over shadow, is an active alignment with the universal consciousness. You are, in essence, tuning your personal radio frequency to the frequency of God, of universal energy, of the source of all that is. The power of this alignment is transformative. It is the key to unlocking true peace, which is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of serenity amidst the storm. It allows you to access that boundless reservoir of strength that lies beyond the physical realm, the strength that comes from knowing you are eternally supported and guided by the very energy that sustains the cosmos. Imagine the universe as a massive, complex ocean of vibrations. Every thought, every word, every deed creates a ripple. Positive actions, compassion, generosity, truthfulness, create smooth, expansive waves that return to you as harmonious experiences. Negative actions, fear, deceit, hatred, create choppy, chaotic disturbances that eventually return to you as discord. The law is unbreakable, impartial, and perfectly fair. Our collective forgetting of past lives is a vital part of this mechanism. If we remembered the specifics of every debt and every credit, we might be driven by fear of repayment or expectation of reward, rather than the pure motivation of selfless love. The clean slate ensures that our actions spring from the deepest core of our current being, forcing true, unadulterated growth. We are not meant to live in the past, but to live fully and consciously in the now, knowing that the consequences of our past actions are being processed in the background and the seeds of our future are being planted in the foreground. This profound present moment awareness is the greatest gift of the cosmic forgetting. It forces us to confront our current state and determine, right now, who we choose to be. The call to action is simple. Surrender your need for total control and explanation. Accept the mystery. Acknowledge that the highest form of intelligence is recognizing the limitations of your own. Look at the vast, silent night sky, or the intricate branching of a tree, or the flawless cycle of a water drop, and see in it the signature of a consciousness so immense it defies simple anthropomorphic definition. This consciousness does not demand allegiance or ritual, it simply is, and it invites you to recognize its presence within yourself. This recognition is the true act of faith, the opening of the soul to the flow of the universe. When you accept the possibility of the energetic connection, when you embrace the wisdom of karma, when you understand that your current life is a carefully designed curriculum for your eternal self, you stop fighting the flow and begin to move with it. You realize that every person you meet is a co-traveler, every challenge is a lesson, and every moment of peace is a glimpse of your true energetic home. This journey is long, the lessons are continuous, and the growth is eternal. But the reward, the serenity of knowing you are part of an infinite, loving, and intelligent whole, is worth every ounce of the humility and self-reflection required. Let this positive, constructive force invade your soul, guiding you to a clearer understanding of your purpose, your relationships, and the unbreakable bond you share with all creation. Embrace the mystery, embrace the power of the now, and embrace the eternal wisdom of the cosmic energy. This alignment is what brings true, lasting peace. This energy is the true self, the eternal soul, the reflection of the divine consciousness. By consciously choosing love, compassion, and humility today, you are not only easing the burdens of your past lives, but actively building a luminous and harmonious future for your eternal self. This is the great work, the continuous journey, the silent, powerful truth that underpins all of reality. There is a greater order. There is infinite love, and it is waiting for you to simply open your heart and recognize it. The energy of creation is the energy of your being. If you love this story and want to hear more like it, please hit that subscribe button. It truly means the world to us and helps us grow. And hey, while you're at it, let's aim for 50 likes on this video. Help us smash that goal.